Well, hey everybody, it's your good buddy 650 Eve here, and today I'm at one of my favorite places, Brentuning, here near Boston, Massachusetts, and it's a very special day because I brought with me my 2020 Hockenheim Silver S1000RR and the 2019 Aprilia RSV4 1100 Factory. And today, Brendan himself is going to custom tune those motorcycles and explain to us why tuning a motorcycle like those is very important. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, tap that bell and you'll get notified when new content is uploaded. We got Brendan right there. What's up, buddy?
What's going on, man? How are you?
Always good to see you. Last time I was here was about 2 years ago. I brought the older edition S1000s in. I brought 5 of them back then.
Yes.
You tuned all of them. They're very happy customers. They were super fast. A couple of those bikes are still terrorizing the filthy streets of Cleveland. So we are back because we want the same effect for the new bikes. So what are we going to do here today?
First, we're going to do the BMW. That's obviously our bread and butter.
Okay.
We're going to baseline it, which we just did, and we're going to add performance flash with the restrictions and some features that we're going to talk about, and then we're going to add MR12 race fuel, and we're going to show the auto adaptation ability of the 2020 ECU and the horsepower it makes just by putting in race gas.
Okay.
Then we're going to dig into the Aprilia pretty good. We're going to show people why those are competitive bikes, why more people should buy them.
Yes.
We're going to show some strengths and you know, talk about Aprilia like other people haven't talked about before. They're kind of pushed aside, but you know, we're big BMW fans here, obviously big Ducati fans, but we're also Aprilia fans as well. So we have now, it's a very hot day, but we've run about 4 baselines, hot temperatures to get kind of an average out of the bike. We've got about a high of 194, but realistically 191, 192. Bike has our stage 2 part kit, but the stock ECU.
Yep.
And Ebe's very specific, unique exhaust, I think, over here. That sounds very good, very loud.
We've got the Aero, full titanium that Zach installed. He also removed the flapper and he did the IAT thingy.
IAT relocation is very important on this bike because it sits behind the closed flapper. It's a mod that a lot of people miss out on. It shows in our baselines, there was a fluctuation of about 5-6 horsepower in between hot and cold, mostly because of the IAT of the bike on a day like today. So it's very important for people that are idling at a drag strip or a roll-on event to have that modification. It's something that we've kind of created over the years, and competition hasn't really copied it because there's some tuning changes that need to be associated with it to make it functional. So it's a must-have for people that are stage 1 right now, and it's very easy to add. So right now we are loading the first software flash, our stage 2 file for pump fuel.
Okay.
To this bike. It's just about done, and from there we're gonna run it another identical 4 runs and look at the power differences, and then see if there's anything. Even though these bikes are closed loop when we tune them, that means there's really no custom tuning. We're using the factory widebands to target the air fuel that we want. Think of your auto tuner or your Woolwich or your PC5. Auto tuner device. This is 1,000 times better and sophisticated. So because you can activate this logic at all RPMs from idle to redline, you can have a reflash that's dead on right out of the box, which is a first in motorcycle tuning. There's no need to adjust for, you're going to go do runs in Texas, you're going to do runs in Death Valley or 6,000 feet. The bike is correcting like a new European sports car at all times, as long as you set the software up for it.
Yeah.
We call it full-time closed loop. So the bike has wide bands from the factory. It is a motorcycle first that we know of, and it's a game changer. So custom tuning and having one guy having a slow bike and one guy having a fast bike and having identical bikes, that's over. Pulling out your laptop on the side of the road and making changes like my man Evan does over here, that's over. BMW has simplified this. They'll be fast wherever they go as long as it's flashed correctly. So that I try to harp on people because that is amazing. You don't need to bring your bike to a dyno. You don't need piggybacks. You don't need me for an hour. You just flash and go.
Wow.
And on top of that, the BMW has adaptive octane ignition maps. There's many different ignition maps, so it knows whether it's on poor fuel, medium fuel, race fuel, 91, 93. It automatically is set up for that, and it toggles between those maps based off the knock correction. That's also a first that I've seen in BMW ECUs or bikes in general. So having a race gas map and having a pump gas map, those days are kind of over. because the bike is smarter. The ECU in this is much like a car. It's very similar to what we do on our day-to-day with BMW, Mercedes, and Porsche. And once we saw the technology here and trying to explain that to people, they were blown away. You know, I need new maps, and I got a different exhaust. I need this. I need that. It is simplified. It is.
Yes.
It is once and done, so it's easy for people that don't want to tinker, people that don't want to pull on the side of the road and make a fuel correction.
Yes.
It's real-time tuning all the time. So once we saw that, we knew we were going to have a blast with this bike, and it's been a very popular product as a result of that. Watch this, it goes all the way to 15. So.
Yeah.
What I'll do is I'll hit the button and I'll sit back. Okay. Very consistent. That's good.
Yeah.
10 horsepower.
Okay, so while that's cooling off, Brendan,
Yep.
how do you feel about those numbers? Looks like 212 horsepower, and
Yeah.
12?
Obviously, every time you bring me a bike, it's the hottest, muggiest days of Massachusetts. Probably the worst for dyno numbers, and that's fine. But today, really, the best of 4 stock was 192. Pump 202, pretty standard even for a cold day.
Yeah.
And we just saw 212. All we did was put MR12 in. We've set up the ignition maps to advance based off. That's part of our, the easy feature of tuning the bike is you can dump whatever fuel. I mean, there's obviously fuels that are better than others, but MR12 is what it likes.
Yeah.
We just put that fuel in. We made no changes. We obviously let it mix a little bit, and by 3 runs, it made 10 additional horsepower.
Wow.
5 additional torque. It doesn't sound like a lot, but that's a ton. That bike is stupid fast now. So it's making over 200 wheel horsepower from about 11,500 RPMs all the way to 15,000 without a taper. So that's why you see these bikes in the street. They're noticeably faster than their counterparts.
Yeah, so one of the things you do also is you increase the rev limit.
Yes, we found about 15,000 to be safe. The bike will continue to make power there. You can land in a better shift point that way. In the future, maybe with some head work, we can adjust that. The cylinder head in this year is built a lot better than what we've seen in the 10 to 19 bikes.
Okay.
It's better valve springs. So, but yeah, it does like better RPM. The bike from the factory goes to about 14.5, but we found 15 is a nice sweet spot.
Nice.
Everything else is going well. You can hear a little bit in the video. We've changed part of the new features. We're kind of catering to, we've catered obviously to the drag guys, the street guys, the track guys, but now we're doing more road course stuff. So we have different adjustable engine braking with the factory controls. So in the computer, we've adjusted the engine braking. So people that do road course work will really like what they're getting from the BMW now. It'll feel more like an RCK style previous bike that you could adjust. So the bike will freewheel more and not, put you over the handlebars on decel. So we've made some features deliberately for track guys that we're going to have in the future. That has always been the complaint, is Brentuning doesn't care about track guys.
Yeah.
We do, but we just needed to collect some more data from people racing these. And that's part of this flash. So he was going to be getting the quick turn throttle modification, which is, you don't have to basically have it at full 100 twists.
Oh, so it's kind of like a quarter turn.
Yeah, we still want you to have full adjustment from it, but we have it at more at 100% throttle when it's at 80% twist.
Okay.
So you get, more better reaction, and then at the same time, better engine braking. These bikes have unlimited adjustment in the race pro modes that make it so you don't need a laptop anymore to get the bike dialed in the way you want. That makes you feel best and fastest on the track, or for whatever you're using it for. So the 2020 is really a unique item when it comes to that, because you have the ability in the bike that other people had with their laptop before to make their changes at the track.
Wow.
So we're integrating all that slowly, and it's coming out real well. So, but as far as dyno work goes, you just saw kind of what the off-the-shelf thing does. There was actually no custom tuning. Eve will tell you, I've loaded in one file. We gained 10 horsepower on 93, and we gained 20 horsepower on MR12. The air-fuel ratio is perfect. Like I said, it's closed loop, it's wideband based. A lot of people talk about adding timing or custom tuning fuel for these bikes. I mean, if you do it correctly, you only need to do it once.
Yes.
So we've mastered that. We've made it simple for the user. They can just pump and pour whatever fuel you want in, even low octane, the bike will adjust. So probably gonna move on to the Aprilia next. The BMW's easy for us, so you just do a lot.
I'm happy with that. 202 horsepower on pump.
On a day like today with those coolant temps, I'm happy with it. The Aprilia, we're definitely going to spend some extra time on. It is a newer bike. We know the old ones well. This motor kicks serious ass. We're going to show people how awesome it is compared to the BMW and the V4. But I'm probably going to spend, they're not closed loop bikes. They require specific custom adjustments. So we're going to make custom adjustments this till we get it perfect. And that's a product that we also sell. But we're going to show people the 1100 can hang. How's that for pump gas? Bike is the BMW on MR12. Does it throw big flames? No, that one just did. It looks like it. Pretty good.
216 horsepower, Brendan. Wow.
I told you I wanted to spend some time with it, and and the Aprilias are tough. They're really hard to make power on. They're pretty de-restricted out of the box, but getting the fuel and the ignition just right paid dividends, The tune you came in was pretty decent, Another vendor, not bad, but I mean, we're gonna put it back to stock at the end. But for now, I got to see what it does on VP MR12.
Okay, Brendan, so what are your guys doing?
Probably going to be the first people to put VP MR12 in an RSV4. The motor is a clear powerhouse. We're familiar with putting this fuel in the older bikes. It works. Let's see what it does in the newer bike. I'm hopeful. Well, just hopefully it doesn't, obviously this is a custom tuned bike. Without wideband sensors like the
S1000.
So from memory, it doesn't change the air fuel a whole lot. We're going to test it as is. If it does need some more fuel, we're going to give it some more fuel. But I'm confident it's not going to be super drastic change, but the horsepower is going to be pretty drastic.
Wow. So they're siphoning out the pump 93 octane fuel,
Yep.
and then they're going to put that delicious MR12
Good
oxygenated
stuff.
racing fuel in there.
Because we want to see what the maximum potential of this motor is.
Okay. So 212 is just not enough for you.
No, no. I like making things go as fast as they can safely.
Okay.
It sounds good. I like stock sealed motors because
Yeah.
they have factory engineering and tolerances. So we'll see what it'll do.
I got to do that in my C8 Corvette now. So thanks, Brendan, for everything you did today, man. Tuning those motorcycles. They look and sound great, and I rode the S1000. It performs great.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yep.
Have a good one.
Later, man. So Brendan is getting the heck out of here. We got a few people that showed up to hang out with us today here at Brentuning, and his staff is going to help us out here, but he just let me drive his amazing GT3 RS. What an outstanding supercar. That is exactly what it is. So these are the bikes that showed up, and now we're going to go and talk to these cool people. Launch control!
That looks clean, man.
Sounds good too.